Is your protein goal per day causing you to not see the gains you want? Maybe overeat, maybe keep on some fat that you're trying to get rid of, maybe, especially if you did it wrong like I did a long time ago. So a long time ago, before I was a dietitian, I looked like this, whichever way I post edit myself into. And now I'm into endurance sports for the last 6 or 7 years, and I look like this. But my protein needs are still important because I've got to repair, recover, and rebuild. But back then, when I was a bigger guy, I didn't understand shit. And so when people told me, hey, Andrew, you need to eat a lot of protein, I did. I did the calculations. I found out my macronutrient, my protein goals, and I was like, all right. So for example, I needed 150 grams per day. I'd be like, sweet, no problem. I would divide that by the number of times I'm going to eat. Let's call that 5, right? So I'm eating 30 grams of protein 5 times per day. And then I would go to like my Fitness Pal or the internet, and I would type in, okay, 5 grams of chicken breast that's cooked is 30 grams of protein. Nailed it. And I would throw that 4 to 5 grams of protein on my plate all the time, or I would measure out like 30 grams of egg whites. And I would go crazy. But never mind, I didn't even think about all the other things on my plate. The bread and the peanut butter and the broccoli. Like shit, there's I think 6 grams of protein in broccoli, right? Or the milk or anything else I was eating that was making the meal. There was all this extra added protein. God, I was overeating protein. And I got big, but I also got a little extra fat that I didn't really want. Well, that persisted. So fast forward to being a dietitian, working with all these athletes and trying to explain how much protein they need. And it occurred to me that when I was telling them how much they needed, I was automatically doing the calculations in my head to wean that back so that they weren't doing my mistake. But then I was like, they're not learning. They just think they need this lower amount of protein. And then they would come back to me like, well, I was reading and then I need this much protein. I'm like, oh, it's because I didn't tell you what I did. And so now I'm into educating all my athletes about this thing called deliberate protein. It's something that I use. You probably won't hear it anywhere else. It doesn't make it special. It just means how I explain it. So what the hell is deliberate protein? All right, let's do some easy math. If an athlete needs 100 grams of protein in a day, I take like 60 to 80% of that. And I say, that's what I want you to focus deliberately on protein intake. So let's take 80% of 100, 80 grams, and you're going to eat 4 times per day. So that means 4 meals of 20 grams of protein. Now, where's all the rest of the protein going to come from? It's going to come from the balanced meals you're eating, because I'm also focused on you eating enough carbohydrates and enough fruits and vegetables and enough healthy fats to get everything you need. And this ensures we don't overeat, and you think about protein from all sources and understanding that it's not just these whey proteins, animal meats, yogurts, and soy that give you protein. And that it's all encompassing about the plate. So if you've never thought about your protein intake that way, it's going to save you a hell of a lot of money, first of all, right? Because you can actually half your protein scoops a lot of times. You can eat less protein. You can eat more quality, high nutrient dense food, adding in fruits and vegetables. And it's just less stress, right? So it's also less calories. So if you're not thinking about your protein like that, you should. Think deliberate protein, take your total daily needs that you think you've calculated out and take 60 to 80% of that. And then track once in a while. Are you getting close? Do you need to up that deliberate protein closer to the 70 to 80%? Or do you eat a high volume of carbohydrates and fat during whatever part of the season you're in? Because let's say you're an endurance athlete or an Ultraman and you're just plowing through the carbohydrates. You're gonna get a lot of extra protein just because of the volume of food you're eating. Maybe you can dial it back. So keep that in mind. Think about it. I made the mistake. You don't need to. If you got any questions, I'm here to help out. Send me a message. Late.